Turkish, that was a very good win against a team in Leeds that have been playing brilliantly this season, and Arsenal controlled the game.
Yeah, for the majority, definitely. I think in the second half, when they got that first and second goal, their heads began to rise a little bit. And you know what? I think we always knew there's going to be goals in the game, and it's lucky we got the first 4. Otherwise, it could have been a different story. And it's a good win, 100%. Before Benfica, which is the pivotal game for our season at the moment, I think we needed to bounce back with a win. We've lost the last couple. And we did that, and we scored 4 goals, you know. So I'm happy about that, and I'm happy Auba got a hat-trick too.
Yeah, I was going to say, you say pivotal game on Thursday, which of course it is a pivotal game in the Europa League against Benfica, but it's also pivotal that we get Aubameyang back firing, because we all know he's that big game player, and we need him firing if we are to do anything in the Europa League.
Yeah, we do need him, 100%. You know, I know he hasn't been on form this season. I know he's struggled for consistency. He's been in and out the side for one reason or another. But at the end of the day, he's the one that's, you know, got a long-term connection to the club right now. In terms of the next couple of years, he's here. He's on the highest wages. He's the star man. Whereas the other 2 strikers we got in the summer, they've both got 12 months left. We need to make Auba work now. So for next season, we're ready. And, you know, it was the first game in a while he started up front, and he done his thing. That's what I want to see more of, because at the end of the day, like I said, there's a critical summer coming up. And if Auba can, you know, find his form again and kick on in the striker position now, that's perfect for us moving into next season.
It's a bit of a dilemma now, a good dilemma, but a bit of dilemma for Thursday, that who plays in that position. Now, if you were the manager, who would you start as striker?
Auba, no doubt about it, Rob. Just exactly for the reasons I said. Forget the hat-trick for a sec. Even if he scored 1 goal today, I would have said Auba starting, because for me, he's the one we've relied on in the past. We're going to need to rely upon in the future, you know. At the same time, Lacazette has had a bit of form, but it'd be good to have him off the bench too. At the end of the day, you know, Aubameyang's our future. And I think that for the Benfica game especially, his hat-trick today confirms his position for that game.
Yeah, what did you make of the new boy, Odegaard, today?
Yeah, he was good, you know. Obviously, when I first saw the starting lineup, I thought, oh, Pepe, you know, it's hard done by. But on the other hand, he might be being saved for Benfica. Who knows how Arteta's thinking with that. But it's good to see Odegaard get a start. And he performed well in that position. He found the spaces. He picked out between the lines, and he worked well. It wasn't like he was a fish out of water. And you can see his quality too. With Emil switching, with Saka as well. It all worked well. There wasn't, you know what's refreshing? Well, this part of the year, the early start in January and whatnot. Pepe, Martinelli, Saka, Emil Smith-Rowe. And okay, Odegaard's come in as a loan, but we've got good options now in that 3 behind the striker. You know, that's why Aubameyang working up top is so pivotal. So in the summer, we know whether we need to buy a backup striker or one that's going to actually go in and fight straight away for that first team position. So I think Odegaard was a positive today, definitely.
Yeah, definitely a positive. I mean, again, focusing up on that game on Thursday, because, you know, the attention turns to that. We're not even looking, because next week is City, right? We're not even looking at that Premier League game. The game that is so important is Thursday night. How do we approach that?
We have to approach it on the front foot, Rob. At the end of the day, we haven't had the best season, but Benfica aren't having the best season either, you know, and we would be fools to think this is a given, and we'd be fools to think that it's not going to be a difficult tie. I think that the reality is our best assets are up front. You know, although this year we've done well defensively, I think we need to try and, especially in the Europa League, you know, where teams will approach us a bit different to the Premier League too. I think in Europe, especially when we was in the Champions League too, you find that you can't convert your Premier League form into Europe because the way teams approach you are different. So on the front foot, Rob, I think you play your best 4 up top and you work well in the transition.
What did you make of that penalty decision in the game that got overturned? Because we were watching it on the stream and like, nailed on. I mean, he gets told to go to VAR, which means he must have made a clear and obvious error. Remember, that's what they keep telling us. Yeah. And then he changes his mind on it. I don't know. What was your opinion on it?
To be honest, I do think it was a penalty in this day and age, but I do think it's soft at the same time. I think that they was looking out for a trip or a meeting of legs when that didn't happen. And when you look in slow motion, even the meeting of legs looks a bit different to the reality. At the end of the day, Cooper, you know, his upper half of his body went across Saka's. He's a bigger guy than Saka. He knocks him off balance, or Saka's trying to not avoid him, but trying to get round him. It's a penalty in this day and age. And at the end of the day, VAR stood up to the referee. The referee went to check it out. And in slow motion, it looks softer than it did in real life. So
softer than the Luiz one against Wolves. I mean, it's inconsistencies.
Yeah, 100% inconsistencies. And we've seen it again, not only in our game today, but throughout the Premier League weekend again. You know, it's still a hot topic, and it's going to be a hot topic until they fix it, because it's something that needs fixing now. It's something that can't be ignored.
How do you fix it? How do you get this thing more consistent? Because I think it's the thing, it's consistency what we want to see. We want to see that right across the board, similar decisions are being made. We know that referees can make mistakes, but the VAR is brought in now to help them. And it seems to be that instead of helping them, it's just exposing them.
Exactly. I think they need to get up off their perch for one thing, Rob, because they're untouchable. So that for one, they need to understand they're not Teflon. They can be criticized, and they do get things wrong. And an awful lot of things recently, like you said, exposed more by VAR. I just feel like when you look at, you know, consistency of the VAR team too, if you add in few ex-professionals, if you add in a few other perspectives of the game, you'd get a more well-rounded opinion. But still, there's no ownership of the problem yet for us to even, you know, talk about it and negotiate about it. It just seems like you can't talk about it. If you do, you get fined and you learn your lesson, you know? So I think that it's just something that definitely needs to be addressed. And the more high-profile games errors occurring, the better, because that's when it will be addressed. It won't be addressed in the games with Southampton or Aston Villa or whoever it is, even us at the moment, to be honest with you. If it's happening with Man City, Liverpool, that's when you'll see more change, because, you know, that's when things happen. And
finally, top 4, 6, any... It's such a crazy league this season. I mean, Liverpool losing 3 games in a row. I mean, I've just seen so many incredible results this season. Can you still write it? Can you still, at this moment in time, say there's no chance?
Listen, Rob, every time we win, we look back at the last couple of games and think, if only we picked up a few more points then, you know? Like even today, if we look back a few games and you think, even against Wolves, for example, you pick up a few more points and look where you'd be. But the reality is, we are where we are. Southampton, Leeds, Wolves, for example, these are the teams we're competing with for top 10 now. You know, we're competing for a top 10 finish this season. That's why I've got no care in the world for the actual game today in terms of points. Win, lose or draw, there's actually nothing left in the league. Benfica is essential, and I wanted a good performance for that, and I wanted Auba firing for that. Rob, I want to ask you something quickly. Was there an injury with Holding, or was that just a decision that Arteta made?
I think it was just a decision to leave him. So it looks like he's leaving him for Thursday.
Potential.
I don't know, man. I like the partnership that I saw today.
Now, to be honest, listen, this season, one thing that no one can deny is defensively, we've looked more organised and structured. Yeah. We've had the pairings of Mari and Holding look good. We've had Gabriel and Holding look good. Gabriel and Luiz have looked good. Today, you know, Luiz and Gabriel, you know, so I think that it's the structure and organisation. It'll be interesting to see whether Holding was saved for Thursday or whether he, you know, that mistake last week has cost him his position. We'll see anyway. I just got your thoughts on that.
All right, listen, Turkish, thank you very much, man, and we'll chat tomorrow.
Nice one, Rob. Take care, yeah?